energy medicine. I was working in a corporate job and I was extremely miserable with it. And not saying everybody working in a corporate job was miserable. For me, I knew it just wasn't my path. And so I started to have a lot of the symptoms of doing something in your life that isn't really fulfilling. So I started having depression, I started having anxiety, standing in the grocery store looking at the ketchup aisle for 15 minutes and freeze. Kind of like those reactions, you know, substance abuse, all kinds of things going on, and really trying to find out what am I going to do with my life. Bad relationship choices, all of it. I was doing all of it. And what happened was I was in the library and I had come across a book a while back about healing with the hands. I think it was in Starhawk. There was a character in one of the books that was a hand healer, and I thought, wow, imagine if the world went to pot, at least you could still heal with your hands. That really, it touched something deep inside of me. So I did a little bit more research and found, at the time, a book on pranic healing written by Master Choa Sui. And I started to learn. I was like, wow, this is an incredible thing. I want to learn more. And I ended up finding a teacher in Vancouver, a lady named Jenette Ashley, and she basically changed my entire life. I went over to her house to receive a healing, and you know, I was really skeptical at the time. You know, I studied science. I was like really wanting things to be really earthy, grounded, not woo-woo. But this lady had an energy about her, and she was very matter of fact, and I could get behind that. It seemed what she was doing was very scientific. There was a method and a result. So when I sat in front of her, in that, she still held up crystals and was moving her energy around. And I thought, this is a bit strange. But I noticed during the session, I started feeling lighter and lighter and lighter. And I'm like, what is happening to me? And she looked at me and she said, this is who you are underneath all of that. Do you understand that this isn't you? And at the time I was in my late 20s, and I had that tangible experience of what she was talking about. Everything I had been carrying, I thought was me, the heaviness, the substance abuse, the bad relationships, everything. Like I thought that was my destiny. Like I didn't know how to escape it. Anxiety was just always present. And in that moment, I got to be released from that, freed from that, literally. And when she finished the session, it was very much like plant medicine, in the fact that I actually started to have a lot of nausea and sickness. And she said, go to the sink. And I was sick, literally physically sick, just from her waving crystals around. And I thought, what is this? And I stepped back and I looked her in the eye. And in that moment, it looked like her eyes were like a sea of stars, or like the Milky Way. I don't know how to explain it. And she looked at me and she said, now you know. And that's all she said. But I knew exactly what she was talking about. And then she said, go outside, go on the ground, just ground. And for the next 3 days, it literally looked to me like everything was super sparkly, almost like an LSD trip. Not that I know what that's about. But everything was just, it was like I was living in a different reality. And this perception that I was seeing the world, like the colors were brighter, everything, the edges were sharper. And this went on for 3 days. I felt like I was like a child.